Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to a reading for the week of... No, this is for mid-July. Just kidding. We're just gonna jump right in here, Aquarius, and see what is going on for you. You have this Shining Through card, and you also have this Into Me I See card. So I feel for a lot of you that you are probably doing like a lot of deep reflection at this time. Some of you are going through healing. You have that Three of Swords. It does seem to me, for whatever reason, like all of a sudden, in the mid-monthly readings have all been about like healing. So I don't know, it could just be a collective energy where everybody is kind of healing things or forgiving the past, for example, which kind of makes sense. We have Venus going retrograde on the 22nd, so you could be forgiving past lovers, but it doesn't have to just be love, you know. Venus has a lot to do with our values. We have a lot about values going on right now. Everything in Taurus, right? Taurus has a lot to do with value, like good, you know, what you value, the things that you value. And it could be anything, experiences, material items, whatever. So you could be healing a lot of things around your values and around like what you think a valuable life would look like. And it's probably a good thing because clearly it's going to lead to like a victory or success. There might be some things you have to let go of. It seems to me, again, every single person has had stuff like this right here. Two of Swords, Five of Cups, which is... you know, maybe needing to let go of things that you have lost your taste for. The Five of Cups, you know, the whole point of the Five of Cups is that he has lost his taste for wine, and he's grieving the loss of something that he no longer enjoys. So we all do this, where we hold on to things that we don't even enjoy any longer. But, you know, I feel like there's a lot of happiness coming in for you at the end here. So you have the Three of Swords. Some of you, again, you could feel like you're getting your karma here. You know, if someone left you out in the cold, or something like that, you could feel like things are, you know, you could be seeing that person get their karma is what I'm trying to say here, or you could feel like things are balancing out just in general with this energy. So, you know, I would say that's probably a good thing. For others, I feel like you need to realize there are other options, you know, going this way. Three of Swords, Two of Swords to the Four of Wands. She has this new island behind her, but she's like settling, you know, she's like stuck in a stalemate. She's choosing this or that, but really there's somewhere else that she could go. We even see this with the Chariot. The Chariot, I kind of feel, is your solution. The Chariot is leaving his city behind, and he's doing this so he can find a unique place, so he can find somewhere where he can set himself apart. So if you've been, you know, like what I'm trying to spit out here is I feel like some of you need to go on an adventure. I feel like you need to do something you've never done before. You know, this could be, and again, this doesn't literally have to be an adventure. It could be, you could be traveling or moving or something, but it could also be just, you know, an adventure of the mind. It could be a mental exercise that you do. It could be anything. But, you know, I kind of feel for some of you, this does have to do with a perspective shift, especially with that Two of Swords. Again, she is only seeing this or that. She's not seeing that there's a third solution behind her. She's not seeing that there's something else that she could do with her life, or that there's other ways that she could live, or other experiences that she could have. She's not, you know, she's not really opening up to the opportunities that exist. So I can't really, you know, tell you what to do. I don't think tarot should tell you what to do anyway, but it's like, are there opportunities that exist that you could be taking advantage of that would make you more successful, you know? And this is all opportunities. It's like, if you want love, but you're staying home and you're not going out, then you're preventing yourself from having love. If you have a business and you don't have a YouTube channel, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. There's never been an amazing opportunity like exists right now. You can do this for free. They let you put videos up on YouTube, and they let you talk pretty much about whatever you want. And, you know, granted, now they're getting a little strict and a little bit crazy. I agree with all the censorship is ridiculous, but at the same time, for the most part, you can talk about whatever the hell you want, right? And you can put the videos there for free. It's like, you know, there are tons of businesses that don't even bother. And it's like, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You are missing out on a big opportunity. So again, there are millions of opportunities like that exist for all of us right now, but we have to take advantage of the opportunity. We can't just like sit around. So how do we find these opportunities? Well, the Page of Wands, he follows his enthusiasm. He thinks like, oh, YouTube would be a great idea, and he just does it. He doesn't like worry about, you know, what his grandma's going to think if he starts talking about whatever on YouTube. He doesn't worry about what his friends will think or anything like that. He just does it. So I kind of feel that here, where it's like time for you to take a risk, to take advantage of an opportunity and not worry about what's going to happen. You have the Six of Swords here. This is moving on to calmer shores. I do feel like you've been through a difficult period of time. Six of Swords is a rite of passage. It's like a rite of passage is never easy, but it's like you earn something for going through it on the other side. So it looks to me like you are getting something. One thing I will say, though, is we go here, they're in the choppy waters. Behind her, there are choppy waters on the Two of Swords. So it's like you have to go, everything is telling me that you have to go to that island that is behind you on the Two of Swords. And that's where you will get your Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups does not have to be love. It could just be, sorry, I didn't want to do that. It could just be something that you do love, something that brings you a lot of happiness and fulfillment. But let's see. With the Three of Swords, I'm using the Lenormand to clarify, by the way, and you have the Mountain, which can represent obstacles and challenges, and, so maybe love has been a challenge for you just in general, or there have been a lot of blockages, or, whatever the case may be. So, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say about that. I just think you've been dealing with some obstacles there, but it looks to me like there's maybe a better option if you want love. Could come in for you, but you're gonna have to set yourself free. Again, the Four of Wands is also a card of freedom, so there you go. With the Page of Wands, you have the Crossroads, literally a card of going across, a crossroads, a card of making a decision. You're the only person to get this card. You always get these cards of decision making in every single reading I do for you, Aquarius, which is hilarious. So, again, some of you have to make a decision at this time. And I always say it's best to pick the new path with this card. I also sometimes think of this card as crossing through something, and you have the Six of Swords here. Sometimes they look at the crossroads as a crossing. It's like you have to go through something to get to the other side where it could be much nicer. And I feel like that's a time that you have been in. I kind of feel like some of you feel like you got off your path a little bit here as well. With the Six of Swords, you have the Tower. This is not like the Tower in the Tarot. It is a card of isolation, but so maybe you have been isolating yourself. But I almost feel like this is a choice, especially if you're going through something. It's like you could be choosing to go through something on your own, but I feel like you could easily allow people to help you. You have the Three of Cups here. It's funny because I was just saying to Pisces the other day that, it's like this is a very Piscean thing. It could be, you're right next to Pisces, so that's why I'm saying this. But it's like I've had a lot of Pisces friends, obviously. I'm a Pisces. We just swim together, right? And, I've heard from the same thing, basically, from a bunch of Pisces, where they say they're going through something or whatever, they want help, but they're like, no one can help me because no one understands me. But none of them ever try to be understood. It's like you can't say people aren't going to understand if you don't try to be understood in the first place. So, again, I kind of get that here. I'm not calling you out here, but I totally am. It's like if you're having a problem and you're isolating yourself and you want help, but you're not asking for it because you're afraid of being misunderstood, but you're not trying to be understood in the first place. So I feel like some of you have to, it's like you have to try to be understood. And I guess, and maybe, by the way, if you're asking people for help and they don't understand, you're probably asking the wrong people. So, that's what I'll say there as well. Next, you have this resentment and envy card. It says, resentment and envy is draining your energy and making you feel like a victim. Turn jealousy into inspiration is what it says here. So, this could be anything. Five of Cups could be a loss. Like in going here, going up to the Five of Pentacles could be a relationship loss, or, there could be regrets in relationships or whatever. I would let all that go. You have this racing against time card. It says limited time to do it. Prioritize, pay attention, hurry. Avoid distractions and increase focus. Yes, resentment and envy is just distracting you. It's like, I feel like you need to keep putting in the work into whatever you're working on to continue to be successful. I'm also getting I would be careful of toxic people around you. Like if you're in a toxic environment, what can you do to change that? Some of you might be moving. You have the Chariot here, or you might be, you don't have to move with the Chariot. You could just be taking control, making changes, doing something, putting up boundaries, whatever, to kind of make something better. You have the Justice card, Two of Swords, and the Five of Cups. So again, you could be seeing karma or getting karma. I also feel like you need to take a neutral, gain a neutral perspective over a situation as well. This could be a breakup or a separation that you are having this resentment over, right? The Justice card is about kind of seeing both sides, and it doesn't say you have to say what they did was right or wrong or whatever, but it's it's about kind of just like seeing it for what it is. And it's like, I don't really have any good examples, and I'm just going to babble on forever if I think about this. But what I'll say is, it's like if someone cheats on you, it's like, it's like, yeah, that's a terrible thing to do to a person. But at the same time, what type of person does that? Probably someone who has a lot of trauma. So it's like, can you just say, you know what, they're just a broken person with a lot of trauma, and it just wasn't right for me. Yeah, they sold me a bunch of BS, but now it's time to move on. It's like, can you just put it into perspective? You're not forgiving them necessarily even, although I would recommend forgiving the situation. You're not saying what they did was right or anything like that. You're just kind of letting it go, right? And, I kind of get that feeling for some of you. I don't think that's true for all of you, but some of you. Next, you have the Two of Swords. Again, you could, by holding on to something, you could be blind to an opportunity that's behind you. And again, I'm not calling you out, but I do feel there's like much better opportunities coming in for you. But if you're holding on to like protecting yourself or being overly protective of your heart, then I feel like you're holding yourself back. And I feel like you need to see that there's like a new opportunity in totally releasing something. One thing that I will say is this is a major release. The Six of Swords, I also always say that on this card, the woman and the child in the boat, they only have the clothing on their back. They are completely releasing their past. They are completely releasing everything that's behind them for a complete fresh start. So I would say here, like, what are you holding on to, right? What are you holding on to that you think you need from your past? Or what are you holding on to, that you're afraid to release or whatever? Because I feel like you're preventing yourself from true fulfillment. And again, this does not have to be love. This could be, maybe you have a job that sucks and you're afraid to leave for whatever reason, but it's like you're just preventing yourself from having something really, really good. Same thing here, Five of Cups. He's grieving the loss over something he doesn't even like anymore. So it's like, it's like some of you, it's like this could be a person, but could be anything. It's like maybe part of you if this was a relationship, maybe part of you was already thinking about leaving anyway. And it's like, can you look at that and say, well, I was going to leave anyway, so what am I really upset about? Am I upset that they broke up with me before I could break up with them? Is that what I'm upset about? And am I upset that, part of me did still love them, but also knew that I had to leave? Like, what is it, And I feel like finding those answers could be very, very important for you for whatever reason. I feel like it'll set you free. You have the Four of Wands, Chariot. Four of Wands and Chariot, these are cards of freedom. And there's something here about needing to set yourself free. With the Justice card, you have the Garden. Every single person has had this card during these readings. The Garden is about a celebration or going and having fun, spending time with people who matter to you. So again, it seems to me like it's a time where people really need to celebrate, have a good time, be with people who matter to them. With the Two of Swords, you have this Lilies card. This represents a person who has wisdom, knowledge, all those things. And you have the King of Swords. This card always reminds me of the King of Swords. It is a King of Spades, by the way. And, the King of Swords, very similar. Like, there could be people who have a lot of guidance for you. So don't be afraid to, again, ask for help or ask for guidance or things like that. With the Five of Cups, you have the Snake. A bunch of people, I wouldn't say everyone, but a bunch of people have had this card. And so, what I would say here is I would be careful of anyone who did you dirty. I would be careful of anything, toxic as well. It's kind of funny. I'll get comments from people. I'm not picking on anyone here either. I'll get comments from people that are like, I was the toxic one. I did the cheating or whatever. And I always say to those people, well, number one, don't beat yourself up. And no, it's not a good thing to do, but forgive yourself for doing it in the first place. But also ask yourself why you did it in the first place. If you felt like you had to cheat on a person, it wasn't the right person in the first place. But also don't do it again. So, that's what I would say here. So if you, again, I feel like someone needs to hear that. If it was you, everything I just said, forgive yourself, don't beat yourself up. Maybe you need to apologize to the person, or you feel like you need to apologize to the person or whatever. But also ask yourself why you had to do it in the first place so that you don't do it again, right? Next, you have this card that says follow the leader, and you also have this card that says protecting treasure. So, I feel like you're protecting something that isn't treasure, though, is what I feel here. I feel like you're trying to protect something that is just like not as important as you think. I don't really have any good examples, but it's like I was working with a business a while ago, and they wanted to, every single little word that they had for their business, they wanted to trademark, It's like they wanted to have a trademark for like every little thing, every little special word they had. And, I had to eventually be like, it's just not important. It's like, yeah, maybe some of your phrases and things like that should be trademarked, but a trademark is only as good as you enforcing it. It's like, are you going to sue every single person that uses it? Probably not. Is it a good use of your time? Probably not. It's like, I have found that, and apply this to your situation. But I have found that the most successful businesses, they just don't worry about the stupid little stuff like that. They just do it. They don't care if people copy or anything like that. It's like, I get comments all the time, right? I see this on YouTube. People are always like, oh, this person's copying your titles, this person. I'm like, I don't care. I just don't care. Right? I just head down, nose to the grindstone. I do the work. I don't care what anyone else does, right? And again, I think my results speak for themselves. I get the most views out of any reader. So, there you go, right? And I feel that here for you, Aquarius, where it's like you could be worried about like people stealing your ideas or, all this other stuff. But it's like, what's really important? Is that important? Spending all that brain space worrying about that stuff, is it important? Or would it be better to just like put in the work and make things happen? It's like I always tell people not to dwell on this, but it's like the titles that other people steal from me are like old titles. I've already moved on to new stuff that works better. So it's like it doesn't work as well for them. So again, if you're like truly successful, then you're always iterating. You're always coming up with new ideas. It's like people can't beat me, right? Plain and simple. So, and it just is what it is. And, I feel like when you become like that, that's when you become truly powerful. So become a leader is what this card is saying, right? Don't worry about like what everyone else is doing. This could be in any area of your life, by the way, where you might be, I kind of get this intuitive feeling here that you could be worrying about what other people are saying or doing about you, or how they feel about you or something like that. You have the Ace of Cups, Chariot, and the Four Wands. Again, your job is to set yourself apart anyway. Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto's going into Aquarius soon at the end of the year, beginning next year. And the Chariot comes up all the time now. I really think it's because the universe is trying to get people to set themselves apart. You have that city behind you there, but he's leaving that city. He's doing it so he can set himself apart, so he can be different, so he can be a leader maybe, or so that he can be victorious, whatever the case may be. And, by setting himself apart, he's making himself unique. And I feel like that's what's important here. You have the Ace of Cups, which is your emotions overflowing. So a lot of happiness coming in for you, a lot of joy, a lot of fulfillment. I feel this is something that you have to accept into your life, though. I always say, you see that bird, that dove at the top, it's dropping the Eucharist into the cup there. Sometimes I feel with the Ace of Cups, this isn't like accurate tarot or anything, but sometimes I feel like you accepting the fulfillment is what causes the cup to overflow, if that makes sense. So that's what causes the bird to go into the cup, the chalice, whatever. And, so I'm not saying this has to be love either. The Ace of Cups can be anything that makes you overflow, anything that fills you with energy, anything that you could do endlessly as well, like all day long. Like I can read tarot pretty much all day long. It fills me with energy. I channel from source. Some days I start, I'm super tired. By the time I'm done, I'm full of energy, right? So I can do this all day long. And, that's what I'll say here. It's like, is there something that you can channel? Is there something that you can do all day long? Could be a job, a business. And I'm not saying you shouldn't take breaks or take vacations and things like that, but I feel there's something here about fulfillment. You have the Four Wands. I would commit to it, whatever it is. For some of you, I do get business vibes here, so it could be like a business you need to commit to, or work that you need to commit to with the Four Wands. I feel it'll provide you with a lot of freedom. I also I'm getting a ton of stuff here for you today, Aquarius. I feel some of you are playing it too safe. You have that Follow the Leader card, and some of you, it's like, I don't think we should compare ourselves to anyone else, but I would say if you have a business or a career, it's like, what are the biggest people doing? I would do what they're doing. I don't think we should copy other people necessarily, but I think it's perfectly acceptable to mimic success. I feel like it's perfectly acceptable to adopt the habits of successful people, and that's what I would do here. I do also feel there could be new love coming in for you, of course. Probably someone who's older than you. You have that King of Swords at the end. You have the Lilies on the other side, which is also the King of Spades, which is basically the King of Swords. So, it kind of makes sense. It could be another air sign, but I don't think it has to be. Let's see. With the Ace of Cups, you have this Hammer card. This card is not a Lenormand card. It's an Oracle card. It says work, fixing, working on it, weapon, punishment, warrior, creation, building. So again, I would focus on building something new here with this energy in your life, any area. With the Chariot, you have this loyalty card, the dog, but I was focusing on the word loyalty. This is a card of loyalty, and I would say, what can you be loyal to? Again, I think too many of us, we try to force ourselves to do things that we don't want to do. And I would say, like, look at the clues, look at the evidence. As I always say to you, Aquarius, are there things that you can't be loyal to? Are there things in your life that you just you can't even get yourself up to do? Maybe that's a clue. Instead of trying to force yourself to do things, which I think for whatever reason, life or society convinces us we have to force ourselves to drive 4 hours both ways to our job and, all this other BS. It's like, what are you forcing yourself to do? Can you get rid of those things and do things you love to do that you can be loyal to, right? With the Four of Wands, you have the Stork. Now, the Stork is a card of birth, and, it is a fertile time, so I'd be careful if you're not trying to get pregnant, but it is a card of improvements in general, so I feel like there could be improvements coming in for you here. Next, you have this card that says, if the river flows this way. You also have this card that says, let your dreams be woven true. So I feel a lot of you are working towards a dream. I feel like this fish card here is talking about small wins. This one over here, sorry, my camera's reversed. I feel like you need to work towards things that bring, more fulfillment, happiness, joy, just good stuff into your life in general. But I also feel you need those small wins. Like if you're thinking about making a change in your life, start small, see what happens, and go from there. You have the Five of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and the Three of Cups. Five of Pentacles is a card that says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. The Five of Pentacles wants you to focus on your strengths. It wants you to focus on what you're good at, not on all the things that you're not good at. So make sure you're doing that. I see a lot of time wasting in the astrology in general, where it's like, especially if you're comparing yourself to other people. So like I said, I think it's great to mimic success, but also, don't compare yourself, like I said, but also don't force yourself to do things that you're not good at. It's like, maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, and maybe you think, oh, I have to be like really great on camera, but maybe you're not good on camera. There are plenty of faceless channels on YouTube that do extremely well. So that's just like one example, but it's like, I think that you can do whatever you want in your life, but it doesn't have to be exactly like, someone else. You have the King of Swords. I have the word counsel popping into my head. Like some of you, maybe you need counsel. This could be a legal situation. Maybe you're going through divorce for a small percentage of you. But I also feel this could just be like a wise person in your life who's very helpful. So, again, don't be afraid to tap into the resource of people. Three of Cups is also a card of teamwork. It can represent people in your life, can represent community as well. And so I feel like there's a lot of help from your community or people who are loyal to you with that dog card as well. Let's see. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Man card. Yes, this could be love. This is like a knight in shining armor. It doesn't have to be a man. It could be any gender. I'm reading for like 1 million of you. So, it could be just a person who's coming in for you. By the way, this card can also represent a helper as well. So, I feel there is some sort of helper type person coming in for you. I do get love here. It could be an Aries. By the way, that card's Aries. It could be an Aries. With the King of Swords, you have this bouquet card. This represents like appreciation or gift. And by the way, funny enough, you have the bouquet and the lilies right here. It's like someone is giving you flowers or someone wants to give you attention or something like that. So I do feel there could be like a person, an admirer coming in for you, for those of you that want love. If you already have love, by the way, I feel like you could be kind of rebuilding the relationship, or you could be just doing things to bring more romance into the relationship as well, which I think is a great idea. With the Three of Cups, you have the Fox. The Fox is a sneaky energy. You have the Snake and the Fox. Both of these cards kind of represent sneakiness or someone who is sneaky or tricky. So every single person has literally had either one or both of those cards. And so I would, Venus retrograde, I would be careful of the past person coming in, saying whatever, right? I would just be careful of that energy, plain and simple. We're pulling 5 main themes with the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. You have this devotion card. I love this card. It's so cute. Look at a bird with like a dead bird. It's like till death do us part. So if you want love, there definitely could be a person who will stand over your corpse and grieve the loss of you, right? How romantic is that? You have this inheritance card. Everybody gets these cards of inheritance, 10 of Pentacles, things like that. There could be an inheritance coming in for you, but really the inheritance card, I think that it's the time that we're in. We are in a time where the universe is encouraging everyone to build and leave a legacy. That does not mean everyone will do that, but, I would focus on building something that's bigger than you, more important than you, whatever. You have this domination card here. Again, I feel like this goes back to asking for help. Like if you feel like something is keeping you stuck or you can't escape from something, don't be afraid to ask for help. You have this independence card. Yes, you are very independent, but that does not mean you should do things on your own. Every single person, not to go on a rant here, but it's like I see all these people on social media that talk about how independent they are and all this other stuff. It's like I saw some girl on TikTok talking about how independent she was. all her other videos were her basically crying and having mental breakdowns every freaking day. I'm like, that's not independent, and that's not healthy, and that's not a good thing, right? You're not some brave, independent, whatever, right? So it's like, to me, I call it toxic independence, where everybody's like, oh, I don't need no man, right? Or woman, whatever. I don't pick sides here, right? But it's like, being alone is like, we're not meant to be alone. So I don't know, like, where this alone culture, everybody being alone, I don't know. I think it's leading the world to a terrible place, is what I would say. So again, I think it's perfectly fine to be able to take care of yourself and be independent, but if you need help, you need help. In any area of your life, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. So I feel like this is saying it's great to be independent, but also don't be afraid to ask for help. You have this patience card. The patience card says you have been very patient. It kind of reminds me of the Nine of Pentacles. Like, you can see this lady right here. She kind of looks like the Nine of Pentacles lady. So I do feel that you've been patient for abundance, and I do also feel that there is abundance coming in for you here, Aquarius. But this is a really interesting reading. I think it's going in a good direction. I would focus on those small wins and asking for help in any area of your life you need help, right? But this looks really, really good. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.